All right, so major predictions time. Yeah, and also, by the way, make sure to check out the video that we uploaded, the debate video on the top 10 teams in the world. Similar to this, but also take into account that this is actually just taken into account offline, obviously at the major, and the best team in the world discussion also included online. So, these, predictions should slightly deviate. Anyways, let's get it started. Karmine versus Wildcard, EU number one versus OCE number one. I don't think I'll surprise too many people by thinking Karmine will sweep here. NRG versus Genji, NA number one versus NA number three. I expect NRG to win, considering they are, the number one seed coming out of North America, and they have quite the pedigree in terms of major competitions as well. Falcons are Secrets. I expect Falcons to win. That being said, Secret have done fairly well in South America, closely matching up Furia. That being said, Furia do get matched up closely by the number two Sam team fairly regularly in the past. They have done that in the past quite regularly, so it's still a bit of a question mark. How good Secret will be at LAN as well. That being said, I will give them a game five because I think Falcons do struggle sometimes when they don't quite have everything their way, but once they do, they tend to kind of dominate, I feel like. So I'll say that one goes to game five. Vitality versus Twisted Minds. This has definitely got a huge upset potential. That being said, that's if you have this as an upset. Because some people might rate Twisted Minds above Vitality at the moment. But obviously I don't. Vitality's second seed as for Europe. I think that's a huge deal. Twisted Minds, they I think have been pretty good, right? But I kind of am a little bit tentative about them. Atomic moving out there. Atomic is a pretty good player, but is he, vitality level? I don't think so. Rise, could he be vitality level? Could be. Napo could be. Napo is a little bit of an unproven player at the moment, but he could definitely rise to that level, right? And maybe he definitely maybe he finally shows it here at this event. But I don't think he will. I'll give Vitality 3-1. Furia versus Chiefs. Chiefs is the Reserve squad, so Reserves has gone over to OCE, but they did not dominate the region. They got second seed for OCE. Furia, I still expect them to be a top contender, so I'll say 3-1 for Furia. Dignitas versus Complexity. Complexity for in my opinion is a little bit overrated going into this event. I think they technically come in as the fourth seed, and they haven't had a lot of great wins. They've shown their consistency throughout the season, but their wins aren't against teams that great, and they also struggled in South America last season. So I mean, I'm a little bit unsure what to do with them, and for me, they're not quite a top 10 team in the world. Like I've said in that debate video, more on that there, but yeah, I'm gonna put a 3-1 for Dignitas. Ultimates, Luminosity. Luminosity, the APAC team. I think this APAC team has actually a fair chance to win a series in the Swiss, but I don't expect them to do so against Ultimates. So yeah, I'll give this a 3-0. 3-0 for Ultimates. GK versus Foot or FUT, I really don't know. I'm gonna give this a 3-0 for GK, but they could maybe grab a game there. Karmine Corp versus GK then. Ooh, rematch of the most recent EU Grand Final, which makes me a little bit more tentative about this prediction, but I will still give this one to Karmine Corp 3-1. NRG Ultimates. NRG just most recently got beaten by the Ultimates in the semi-finals. Do I expect them to do that again? It's tough to say. Chronic, I feel like, isn't really known for having amazing majors at the moment. LJ, I don't really know about him necessarily either way. First Killer's usually fine at majors. Energy, I mean, we know that they have quite the pedigree, so yeah. Um, I'll say 3-1 still. I'll still give to NRG that they'll win over the Ultimates. Falcons Dignitas. Ooh, this is a good one because Dignitas does have the upset potential here. I think definitely, considering what I said about Falcons earlier. But I think this isn't really the most stressful scenario for Falcons, so I still expect them to win this one in the end. I'm gonna say 3-1 for the Falcons. Vitality Furia should be a very close match. Furia, I think, are a very, very tough team to play. Uh, and honestly, I think Vitality might drop a series here. So I'm going to give the series for Furia Game 5. Wildcard for FUT. Still going to give 3-0 for wildcards. They were pretty good at the World Championship and previous majors, so I feel like I have to back them again based on that. Genji Luminosity. I'll give them a game, but I think Genji should still be better, right? But yeah, I mean, you never know. That could still be game 5. Maybe that's an upset, honestly. Sphinx, not far off Genji. And same with Catalysm. Catalysm, Sosa are pretty good players, so you know they're definitely right up there as well. This honestly is not a freebie at all. If you go into this series thinking this is a free win, you know that this has some upset potential. And actually, now that I mention it, you know what? Game 5, we'll say. Game 5 for Genji. Secret versus Complexity. Now, this is a big matchup. Very, very big matchup. Complexity Secret. Man, I really do want to give this to Secret, but I really feel like Complexity will just grind this one out, just about. But I think it could really go either way. So basically a 50-50 matchup for me, and I just, you know, roll the dice on Complexity there. Twisted Minds Chiefs. I think I've got to go with Twisted Minds here. It's Chiefs. Will I give them a game? Um, no, I won't. I don't think they've looked good enough throughout the split to win a game here. So, you know, I'll say 3-0. When I say win a game here, it's not that they can't, it's just, you know, after 2 series playing against teams of similar caliber, I feel like they're bound to get swept at some point, and I guess I just think it's a second series, right? All right. 2-0 round here. Karmine Corp against Furia. I'm going to have Karmine Corp winning this one, I'll say, in game 4. NRG versus the Falcons. Okay, okay. Big match. Very big match. I'm gonna go for Falcons in game 5 against NRG. I think Falcons are ever so slightly the better team, but for me, again, 50-50 matchup here between Falcons and NRG. Vitality versus Complexity. I'm going to have Vitality winning this one. I'll give them a 3-1 over them. Dignitas Twisted Minds. I'll give Dignitas the win here over them. Very close match. Let's say 3-2. Ultimates versus Genji. I'm gonna give Ultimates the victory, even though they just lost in the grand final against them. Give them a game 4 win there. Geeky versus Wildcard. Geeky versus Wildcard. I will give Geeky the victory here, 3-1. You know, I think they've this very similar roster lost against Wildcard, so I don't think this is like, you know, a clear prediction at all. But I feel like they'll be, you know, kind of not reformed, but they'll have, you know, newly found confidence with how they did at the World Championship. You know, minus Oski, of course. Now that they have Oli, but yeah, I think they should be okay. After having, you know, multiple bad land performances, really, you know, with that Oxygen and the FIFA E World Cup as well. They should be fine, I hope. I hope. Team Secret versus FUT. I'm gonna give a sweep there. Team Secret. That's a really tough team to go up against there. So, Chiefs Luminosity. Wow. Okay, really 50-50 in my head here. But honestly, I'm gonna give Luminosity the win here. Game 5, I think it'll be really close. But Sphinx, Catalysm, Sosa, I prefer that lineup just ever so slightly over the Chiefs lineup, especially considering their poor results in OCE. When I say poor, it's not that bad. They still made the major, but they should have done it more comfortably, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna say Luminosity take that. Energy GK. Um, I gotta back NRG here. I'll give GK, let's say no games even. 3-0 sweep for NRG. But yeah, just because I've done a lack of sweep so far that I do that. Furia versus the Ultimates. Um, Furia versus Ultimates. I'm gonna have Furia. I think they are better. I'll give Ultimates 2 games there, but still, I think Furia are the better team. Dignitas Vitality. Wow. Okay, this is a bit of a rematch from the regionals. Dignitas have won against them before, but will they do it again? I don't think so. I'll give Vitality the Game 5 victory. Wildcard versus Luminosity. Um, Wildcard versus Luminosity. I think this is another close matchup, similar to Chiefs Luminosity, but Wildcard, I gotta back them over Luminosity to be honest. So yeah, I'm gonna say 3-1 for Wildcard. Gen G versus Team Secret. I think Team Secret are honestly the better team. I'm gonna say, a Game 5 victory, sure, but Team Secret, I think they're really good coming out of Sam, and I think this will be finally the event where they kind of prove where they're in that 2-3 or above range because Sam, the second seed from Sam, has kind of struggled ever since they got that top 4 and Rotterdam, right? So. Complexity versus Twisted Minds. Right, okay, this is a very hype match. This would be very unfortunate to lose out here, but unfortunately, Complexity, I've got you going out 1 and 3 here, because Twisted Minds, I think, are a pretty hype team. And yeah, I'll call this a 3-2 victory. Just move on to the right here. I guess this isn't really on your screen very well, so I'll just I'll do this one quickly. Dignitas versus Team Secret. I've got Dignitas winning that one. We'll say in Game 5. And GK versus Twisted Minds. I've got Twisted Minds. We'll say in Game 5 again. Ultimates versus Wildcard. We'll have that one. 3-2-1. Bang. Okay. So there are our Swiss results. And then we go into the main event. And we have Falcons and Vitality uppers. Well, I guess we can do the lower round first. Let's do that. Energy versus Twisted Minds. Okay, Twisted Minds. They are pretty good. They've made top 8 here, my predictions, but I don't think they'll get any further than that. So we'll say 4-2. Why not? Dignitas versus the Ultimates. I think Dignitas are the better team, so I'll go with a 4-3 there. Falcons versus Vitality. Really tough match here. Really tough match. I'm going to say the Falcons win that one for 4-3 against Vitality to make the semifinals. Karmine Corp versus FURIA. I think that'll one be a 4-2 for Karmine. They've just looked very dominant in Europe. Not quite so much in the last event, but they still made the grand final, so really not too bad, right? And then, okay, Vitality versus NRG. Wow. So I've somehow conjured up a bracket where I've got Vitality against NRG to make top 4. How have I done this? How have I done this? Oh, it's because of the 3-1 thing. Because only 4 teams make the upper brackets, right? So Energy are just outside of that for me. I really did not mean I really did not mean to do this. Energy's results are not even bad. 3-1, 3-1, 2-3 loss, 3-0, and they somehow end up here. That's really unfortunate. It's because of the bookholds. Okay, Energy have ended up there because of the bookholds. That's why they're in that lower round 1. And the reason I mentioned Energy there, because I feel like Vitality, replay the grand final of the World Championship. I've got to go Vitality. Yeah, that's 4-3 Vitality over Energy. I think This is a bit of a hot take. I understand. I completely understand. Regionally, Vitality have not been that great. They've still been good enough to get second in Europe, but they kind of, just about scraped second. Vitality have not looked that good, even though they're still first in NA. So in that sense, they're similar, but still, Energy first and Vitality second. I hear you say. But for me, I guess because Vitality, with their old roster, only won a roster change there, won the World Championship, I feel like they'll have a mental buffer over them. But yeah, if you go Energy, fair play, but I think this is a really 50-50 match for me, and I've just got Vitality taking that one, so yeah. Furia against Dignitas. Um, yeah, Furia against Dignitas. This is not an easy one, but I think I'll have to go Furia. I'm gonna say Game 7 again, but I gotta back the Giants from South America. Then in the semifinals, Karmine Corp against Vitality. Karmine Corp, Karmine Corp, Karmine Corp. Now the problem with Karmine Corp, and I've said this before, is I feel like they're an incredibly good team, but they have a similar issue as Falcons, where they constantly dominate, but the moment they don't, or like a player on the team is not playing that well, they can really falter. They can really falter. That being said, is it going to happen against Vitality? I don't think so. I'm going to say 4-2 for Karmine Corp, and they take the dub there. Then Falcons against FURIA. Another great matchup there. Will Falcons finally make the grand final? I say finally. They already have, but will they come back to the grand final, I guess? And when I say finally, it's because in the World Championship didn't make the final, but this isn't, World Championship, so I got that a bit confused. Falcons, I do think they'll win against Furia. I'll say game 7 there. And then we got a Karmine Corp Falcons Grand Final. Who's going to win it? Pretty similar to the France Saudi Arabia final in the FIFA E World Cup, but roster's slightly different. Our Karmine got a toe, and they have Drawley as well. So only Vatira being the making the final here. That also made the final for France in the FIFA Air World Cup. And I'll have Karmine Corp win this one 4-2 in the grand final. So there we go. I wasn't really thinking my predictions were going to go this way going into it, but this is where they've ended up. NRG, I've predicted them 5th to 6th. So, there you go, I guess. I don't power rank them 5th to 6th. I do think they're a top 4 team in the world, but, this is how it is. This is how it goes, I guess. And, yeah, a bit of a long one, but yeah, there you go. Those are my predictions. Those are my predictions. I guess you have the 1v1 as well here. Moxie versus Yan. I'm gonna say Moxie wins it 4-2. Alright. Predictions done. Alright, I'll see you later. Bye bye.